mercy.
Like a couple Bitcoins.
Money
Hold
though.
up on my Nakamoto.
Hello.
Hello.
Whoops. It was supposed to be more of a fade out.
Less of a sharp transition. Well, you know, we're just working on getting the music here, guys. Welcome. This is episode 7 of the Blockchain Dynamics podcast.
Yes, indeed. I am Jukely.
My name is Brandon Doge.
And we're here to tell you about what happened this week in the alt currency world.
Yep, and there's always, you know, as always, it's a busy week in altcoins. You know, there's never a dull moment.
Yeah, and one of the things that we do is kind of keep track of new announcements on Bitcoin Talk to find new stuff.
Yep, it's almost impossible to actually keep up with all the announcements, so fortunately, that's what we're here for. The first one this week is Pulsar Coin. This was announced really early this week as just kind of straight up as an ICO. Very, I would say, very shady coin. He posted a couple of different threads, and it's just, I think, really, it seems like pretty much everyone is skeptical of this one. I'm not seeing much in the way of interest. It's very confusingly worded, very confusingly sold.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not seeing anything to like on Pulsar. What do you think?
Well, the one thing that stood out to me, I guess, and that was interesting was that, you know, different ICOs accept different currencies and whatnot. This one was accepting Bitcoin and then DOT, which is the Cryptopia exchange's currency that they accept for like votes and stuff like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I don't understand what that connection might be or why he would want a bunch of dots. Or maybe that's just an easy way to get listed too, I guess, if he collects those or something.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. So he collects the ICO and dots and then he uses them to get listed on Cryptopia.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a pretty good idea, but it seems like there's just not a lot of activity. I don't know. I'm not seeing a lot of updates from this guy, so I will be surprised if anything happens to Pulsar Coin. It's like a 10-week ICO on Pulsar.
Oh, wow.
So, at least if that countdown is to be believed. So I'm not... you know, you got plenty of time for Pulsar, and I have a feeling that in like 2 weeks we'll probably want to see it again.
Yeah, that sounds about right too. But you never know.
Nope, you never know.
The next one that we were checking out was Roxo Coin.
Roxo Coin, it's just this is just another new coin kind of. It's got SHA-256 mining, kind of a conventional time span. 3-minute blocks is pretty long for altcoins these days. And that's pretty much just what they're kind of what they're selling it on. Oh, this is a coin that you can mine. It's got low difficulty or whatever. So
Yep, not a lot of frills here.
But
just pretty much a coin to mine.
And I think that's probably all it's going to be. If you want something to like test out solo mining or something, then maybe this will be a good coin to mine. But I don't think there's not going to be a lot of opportunity for like rental profits or probably much trading with Roxo.
Up next was Nuclear Coin.
I don't know if you saw this one. This is a pretty interesting launch. It's a really classic formula in terms of really high rewards, and the staking starts right away. This was like kind of the standard format after DarkCoin came out, and everyone realized how valuable Instamine distributions can be. So they've got basically instant mining. The developers got like a 3% pre-mine. And it has this split block feature that allows you to really quickly split your coins up for staking, which the developer has essentially admitted that he's using. So it's kind of it's one of those things. He's going to end up, because his coins are the oldest, the first on the blockchain with the pre-mine.
Right.
He gets this huge advantage in stake weight.
Yep.
And then the split block feature makes it really easy for him to like capitalize on that. So he's going to have a huge percentage of the chain, which I mean that's far from unheard of these days.
Yeah, and occasionally it can be good for the price of a coin.
Right, depending on what their intentions are, but in terms of something that you want to buy into, you just kind of have that sword hanging over your head that makes it really tough. But at the same time, I mined this one for a few days too, and got the staking going just for the sake of it.
Nice.
Because
I was going to say, it seemed like there was at least a pretty handful of people in there that weren't the dev that looked like they got some mining in.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of interest on this one. It seems like people are attracted to this distribution, especially if the right people get in early and get that big stack built up.
Sure.
You can really see some really big pumps behind these kind of coins. And so I think Nuclear Coin is pretty promising at this point in terms of that, but it doesn't feel like a long-term coin to me because of how stacked the distribution is.
It doesn't look like it's trading yet, though.
No, and it's still
So I
not
guess we'll
trading
find
yet.
out how that goes.
Yep.
There was a coin in there that didn't really launch, Boxbase coin.
Yeah, Boxbase Coin. I think it did launch, but then Wonderloops, the Twitter personality, got the pre-mine.
Oh,
I think I might not have the details on that right,
you
but
might be misinterpreting it.
somebody other than the developer got the pre-mine.
Oh,
So
okay.
they kind of,
One of those.
at first it was going to be a relaunch, and then they kind of, everyone figured out what was happening and called him out for it, and then so like they essentially seem to have been laughed out of existence. Like I think that's
Man.
that's like the last we've heard of Boxbase Coin.
So maybe they can come back with a brand new name or something and try again.
Yeah,
without getting that.
new name, new logo, new wallet. It's not too hard for people these days. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they came out. They had a funny graphic in the thread of like a billboard.
Oh.
It was a graphic of a billboard with Boxbase Coin photoshopped over it.
Oh, nice. I didn't get a chance to see that.
That's funny, but obviously that's about all the effort they put into it.
And then the Silkcoin folks posted sort of a announcement about what is happening with Silk, and there was a few things happening there. The first of which was that the original Silkcoin is going through a coin swap. The second one is that there's going to be a dark Silk coin. And the third was that they're making this thing called Weaver, which is, of course, the the new stuff, right? The decentralized services on the that works across these networks.
That's a blockchain 2.0 token is the Weaver, essentially.
Yeah.
And then the two 1.0 chains are the Silk coin.
I don't know if the Weaver actually is a token, though. It's more of just what their name is for this platform or something. Of course, it doesn't exist yet, so it's hard to imagine all of the amazing things it could do.
Yeah, the amazing possibilities is something that we don't, that is only exists in somebody's mind, essentially.
Yeah, it's probably could be really cool.
Yeah, I was really happy to see this Silkcoin post. I think you remember Silkcoin launch,
right?
Yeah,
it was kind of after the color coins, or like it was something different than what had been happening. It felt like at that point. I don't remember what the technical difference was.
It was it had a proof of work phase, and then that ended and went to a proof of stake phase, and then it had a second proof of work distribution like a month later. That was the same number of coins essentially redistributed. And if I remember right, it got a really big pump. I think do you remember if it made it to Poloniex? Is it on Poloniex?
I don't even know the answer to that right now. I don't think so offhand, but I do think it's on BitChex. And I was looking up the market cap too, and that's at $210,000, which is actually feels low nowadays for a coin that could like be around with that type of technology, but I might be misinterpreting that.
It is on Poloniex.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, really low volume right now, but it is on Poloniex. The price is 1,000 on Silk. I'm gonna check.
So that would be the one that you would end up swapping, though, too. Keep in mind.
Yep, and that's spiked quite a bit. It looks like I'm seeing a low in here in the 200 range, 1 to 200 range.
Wow.
So obviously, somebody, when people decide to do a swap, that's a classic move to, pile a bunch up and then elevate the price of people who want to buy in after the news of the swap.
And so this will all be fun to watch. The Dark Silk actually has like an ICO,
Really?
a proof of work, and a proof of stake with master nodes. The whole.
The whole. So yeah.
So that it'll be interesting to see how that all comes together.
I kind of am a little skeptical of the ICO aspect because if it's master nodes, that's old. It's old technology. That's free technology. So what do they need the ICO for? I wonder.
I think they just view it as a way to have some people who would otherwise not invest in the coin get in.
Oh, okay. Just another distribution, essentially.
Kind of.
Okay.
Or at least that would be the justification.
That makes sense, but they still have to do something with those bitcoins besides just cash out, I guess. But.
Right. Development costs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, always the mysterious development costs of all IPOs.
Then there was another re-announcement of Ucoin, which is hilarious for me to see because I
Ucoin.
am probably one of the few people that for some reason has followed Ucoin from the very beginning.
Yep. Ucoin has been very low profile coin, but very long running.
Yeah, and I have never ever thought it was a good buy, and I still don't. But like the things that I like about it is just that this developer keeps coming back.
Yep.
Time after time again with new updates, even if they're sort of superficial sometimes. It's still interesting. So it's a really weird coin. There's the re-announcement, and it's trading on a few exchanges.
It's still on Bittrex, correct?
Yep, it never got delisted from Bittrex. It's on C-Cex, and it's on Yobit.
Nice. I know. I actually bought some Ucoin like months and months and months and months ago, just because you were talking about it so much.
Yeah.
And I think my favorite thing about Ucoin is the Ucoin snake game.
Oh yeah. Have you ever actually tried it?
No.
I have.
I just like the existence of it. I
Yeah,
guess
it's funny.
hilarious to me.
It is.
How does it work?
Well, it's like any other snake game, except you tap where you want the snake to go. You kind of like move your finger around in front of the snake, and it tries to follow it, and you collect these little dots, and then every 10 dots, a U pops up, and that's a Ucoin that you can get.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so
did they go to an Android wallet? What does it do?
it goes into a web wallet, a centralized web wallet that's held by the Ucoin team.
Oh, right.
The real catch, though, is that the game is fucking impossible.
You can't actually get any.
I've never, ever been able to get one.
That is
like,
hilarious.
It's so fast. Apparently, the speed of it is controlled by, like, the difficulty of the game itself is controlled by how quickly people might have got Ucoins in the game in the past. So, like, it only has a certain amount of Ucoins, and it tries to adjust for how much it has left by this difficulty thing. And every time I've ever played it, it's just, like, been impossibly hard.
That's funny.
But it exists, and I believe it actually works. It's a nice idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that's a funny thing, and it's like, it's not a blockchain 2.0 coin at all. It's just like, this is Ucoin. We have Ucoin Snake. Yeah. We're still here, and that's just kind of what Ucoin is.
Yep.
And so I always like those kind of blockchains to me that just kind of stick around and aren't trying to pretend to be something that they aren't, I guess.
Yeah.
And so Ucoin, I'm happy to see that this guy's still posting. It
caught me off guard, like I said.
Yeah, I laughed when I saw the post because I was like, oh my gosh, Ucoin is still.
But I'm an op in that IRC channel, so come hang out if you want.
Yeah, please, Ucoin IRC.
Stellar then had another announcement.
Stellar's a coin that I never really paid much attention to.
It kind of just came onto Poloniex, I remember, out of nowhere and went up.
But now
that was back then. I don't know where it's at now.
A takeover announcement? Do you know what the nature of this new Stellar is?
Yeah, a little bit. So one of the first distinctions that they were intending to make was that the tokens are lumens, which is now XLM on the market.
So this is a...
Whereas they used to be called Stellar as well. So that's a distinction that they're making, because the Stellar, like kind of like the Silk we're seeing, or these other networks. Okay. So these, like the larger portion is the network, and then they have a name for the tokens on there, right?
So this is not just a rename, but like an alternate token blockchain?
What it is similar. It's sort of similar to what was happening with Silk from my perspective, except they aren't doing a swap or anything. They're just saying, okay, now the tokens are called lumens, it's XLM, and the Stellar market, we can make that do a bunch of blockchain 2.0 stuff.
Oh, interesting. So do you swap from Stellar to lumens?
Nope.
Do they rename automatically?
Yep, just a rename.
Okay. So what's the deal with what's the integration with Stellar then?
Well, honestly, it was hard for me to find what was getting planned there.
It's probably a little bit of a kind of techno babble, like marketing type stuff.
Yeah, I was either just so far above my head that I have no idea what they're talking about, or they're just like kind of good at faking something there that I can't quite do it.
And this is, it's a long-term project. They've been around for a long time, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, I guess.
Well, and then comparing market caps to like Silkcoin, which we just saw, the market cap on Stellar is around $11 million.
Are you serious? Wow, so it's still a really strong position then.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I had no idea it was that big.
Yeah. So it's almost like hard to know what it's worth.
Yeah, a coin like that, anything can happen with a coin like that. That's getting into that crazy market cap territory of like top tier coins where really anything could happen. Well, I didn't realize that Stellar had such a crazy market. That's awesome.
Yeah, or at least it did when I looked. Maybe I was I think it was around there. Yeah.
Well, props to those guys.
Yep.
Very cool.
Then there was a post for this thing called BitLandGlobal.
BitLandGlobal. This was the idea here is that it's like distributing deeds for property through a blockchain, right?
Right. Specifically in Ghana.
What?
Yeah, I know. From our perspective, like this type of thing just reeks of a scam so hard.
Yeah, but I don't know much about the situation in Ghana, so.
No. Well, it also seems like that it's the type of thing where, if it was real and these people are legit, they'd be doing something like really worthwhile with blockchain technology. It seems like.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that maybe Bitcoin Talk isn't the best forum for this type of announcement, or there's something that you can do better with those types of announcements if you're being legit on Bitcoin Talk.
It seems like some of these ideas are so big, and Bitcoin Talk is so small in a way. I mean, it's a huge part of the crypto scene, but it's like if your project is to try and completely revolutionize the way that land titles are distributed, you would expect for that to be released in like, Reuters or something like.
Right.
You wouldn't expect it to just be something that you only see on Bitcoin Talk with a few paragraphs, essentially. So that causes me to be really skeptical, I guess, of a launch like this, because it's like, if they were actually able to fall through on this incredible premise, I feel like it would be something that's way bigger than just a Bitcoin Talk announcement.
Yeah, that is how it sort of feels.
But, they've got the classic team, big list of the team. No photos this time. I really hope they snag some photos off of some stock photo website to give everyone team photos. I always like that. But
so it might be one of those ones where I actually dig a little deeper, just for the sake of the show, if nothing else. I might try to contact one of these guys and just
nice.
See if we can
get them to tell us what Boxbase coin is about. Or not Boxbase, I'm sorry. BitLandGlobal.
Yeah, they're like, it wouldn't be very hard to show that it's real.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what I always find interesting about people that are willing to believe, fall into scams. If it is a scam, I'm not saying it is yet, but things that are real are just really easy to show that they are.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, if you have some ability to actually distribute land in Ghana or control the ownership through a blockchain, anybody could prove that, so it should be pretty easy.
So that's a funny one. This next one was funny too. It's called DLing.
DLing. This one slipped right by me. I didn't see it.
Yeah. It has a super interesting, bizarre distribution method. Basically,
I like that.
Total supply of the coin 300.
Oh, well, that's a red flag for me, but
inflation rate 15% a year.
Okay.
A ticket to the lottery is 0.01 bitcoins. Every ticket receives a random amount of DLing at the end of it.
So it's a lottery that you buy in with Bitcoin and you get DLing in return.
Yeah.
That does not sound like a win to me. That's hilarious. He needs to he didn't think this one through well enough. He needs to have something on the other side where
what happens next?
Yeah, what
sort of amazing technologies.
He should pretend to have a fixed price market for DLing so that it will seem like a advantageous lottery, and then he could run it up maybe like a Ponzi or something. But
well, and at so many non-escrowed ICO type situations, I can't help but notice that this guy could buy as many tickets to his lottery as he wanted.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of I think that's how a lot of those big crypto Ponzi's, like Crypto Double and stuff, were able to go from that really small thing that no one cares about to all of a sudden being like a huge, deal, is that the people behind them, just falsified a lot of that volume. But it seems like with DLing, the person's not even going through that level of effort. It seems like there's nothing going on to me.
I'm gonna just check there, see if I can tell if anyone's bought it. I don't think it tells me. No, they're using coinpayments.net, which I found interesting. They're sort of funny, lazy. I don't know. Anyways, good luck with it. I'm not gonna buy any.
Yeah, if somebody happens to win some DLing and then somehow in a miraculous way sell those
send
DLing.
Us one. I'd love one.
Yeah, I'll take a DLing. There's only 300, right?
Yeah.
That's the other thing. That's too few coins. It's the chain's not going to work right, essentially.
Yeah, doesn't make sense. The next one that was posted was the Creed.
The Creed.
Which had a very Halloween sort of scary feeling.
That seems like this is the wrong. This seems like this is the wrong time of year for that sort of theme.
Yeah, maybe.
This one reminds me of Roxo coin in terms of it's just like this is a coin.
Right.
My favorite thing about this is the roadmap that is just like it's a bunch of line items with a question marks next to them. Like
Got some exclamation points in there too.
Yeah, TCR micropayments, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe that's part of the roadmap. TCR Hall of Fame, maybe that could be part of the roadmap. It's unannounced, you know. So it's funny to me that they went to the effort of even including the roadmap section of the announcement, but then just populated it with question marks.
Yeah.
Airdrop supposedly though, so I'm sure that'll get some people interested.
I bet we see it on Yobit at some point.
You think so? The Creed? Yeah. You think it's at that level of fishiness, like
Unless it's like a total fucking wallet virus scam, then I would say so. But even then, it doesn't seem like it matters anymore.
it seems like we're overdue for some wallet virus scams. We haven't seen.
I think they're
as many.
happening, but it's a longer scale process. You'll notice that people do lose their coins.
You mean they're not getting detected when usually they get detected like within, a couple hours of launch.
Right.
We haven't been seeing.
But I would just be careful
as
because I
much.
would think that they would eventually realize that by waiting longer, then it obscures what wallet had the virus for a lot of people that aren't running sandboxed, which is a good reason to always run sandbox as well.
I mean, that's definitely the smart way to do it, and I think that's how most of them do go after it. But usually, people notice people will run it in a virtual machine and then notice the additional process.
Oh yeah.
But
I actually have never made it to that point of being infected.
at the same time, people get lazy too. When there haven't been as many scams in a while, people just stop checking when it's not, because it gets out of their head, and then usually there's a couple,
big one or something.
Yeah, you'll get a big virus launch, and then everyone kind of gets back on task.
But we're all going to be safe this year.
So the Creed, not saying it is a virus.
No, of course not.
But I'm not saying it isn't. It's a sketchy post, but it also could be a good coin. I don't.
Line it up.
I don't. It's probably not going to be a good coin. Realistically, but run it in a virtual box.
The next one was the number 7, which and again, very much like Roxo, these other ones, these guys are not really fucking around with any sort of pretense or effort. Yeah. Like these are just blockchains that you can.
They have a roadmap. They went to the trouble of making a stupid roadmap, but honestly, I would rather not see a roadmap. I can't think of a single. I don't want to say a single coin, but that has launched with a roadmap and actually been successful.
No, I don't know how it became a thing.
Usually, coins that are good are just they just launch without a bunch of pretense,
Maybe we should go back to some crypto Asian PODs. Really find out how legit things are.
I almost forgot about crypto Asian proof of developer. What a great.
You know what my favorite 5-star one is?
What is it now?
Rip-off coin.
Oh, nice. Yeah, rip-off coin.
5-star proof of developer from Crypto Asian.
What a stamp of approval. That tells me just how real it is.
It really tells you everything.
Yeah. proof of developer. I wish that he kept up with it.
Yeah.
Even after it was discredited.
Yeah. Could have been something different than it was,
Yeah, definitely. Oh, it's just. It was a good concept in terms of it was a reaction to what was going on. I don't think he was trying to get over on anybody.
Something. Yeah.
He was trying to solve a problem out there, but then once he developed a process and that became known, it became easy for people to just find ways to trick his process.
Right.
And that's essentially what ended up happening with a lot of. I don't remember the names of some of them, but there were definitely some really high profile POD approved coins essentially that seriously discredited the whole system. And now we're just kind of back to the Wild West style of people release coins and nobody really looks into it and anything could happen.
Yep.
But I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah, I'd rather have it be that way than some other way.
Yeah, exactly. You can't ever have somebody. It almost became a thing where a coin would need that crypto Asian approval for a while when it was at the height of its success.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't any good either in my mind, because it's why have this one person be the gatekeeper to the altcoin success world,
Or any one set of standards even.
Yeah, exactly. There's no one rule that can cover what's out there, because altcoins are so broad and there's so many different things that can happen.
The next one that we saw was UnionShares.
UnionShares, a DPOS-based coin. I'm always skeptical of DPOS, so for them to be leading off with that, I don't like to see it. But
total supply 1.22 billion.
What's the gimmick here?
I would say that the weird part is that this isn't worded very well, so I'm just going to read it word for word so that we can try to understand it. We will hold a redeem activities of UNS from now till April 18th to earn the support of the users, involve these kinds of cryptocurrencies, and then they list DigitalCoin, BioCoin, UnionCoin, SecureCoin, TagCoin, CosmosCoin, and CommunityCoin.
Wow.
And now this is where it gets even weirder. So the redemption ratio of each currency is dependent on the last 3 months' average transaction price and the amount of volume in that time. Both data will be grabbed from CoinMarketCap. Then the part that I actually thought was even weirder is that you aren't just selling them these coins or sending them to them. You actually have to give them a wallet.dat file.
Oh, that sounds like that's a huge red flag.
Why would that?
A wallet.dat on which coin? It must be. That's just a huge red flag.
During the activities, whether platform or individual, must directly provide the wallet.dat to the UNS team to avoid the duplicate redemption. So they're going to basically take, then they're going to return the wallet.dat to the users manually within 2 days. Like, this is so unnecessary. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, that's weak.
Why open yourself up to so many possible scam scenarios?
It's got to be a scam. That's the only reason. It's just like that's like a Nigerian prince level of scam. Like, please give me your wallet.dat. You know, even if it is encrypted, it's just gives them a wallet to try to brute force. Like,
so who knows what's going on here? If I'm just totally misunderstanding it, or if it's really just as obvious as it seems. But I'm not going to be looking much further at it.
For me, if a coin is legit, for them to be asking for something so scammy, just immediately kind of take them out of my consideration.
The next one was Bullcoin, which I think the only thing it really has going for it is that they are one of the ones that kind of redid the announcement.
Oh, nice. They started with a crappy announcement.
It looks slick now. It didn't before. So out of all those proof of work coins that we were talking about, that were just kind of no frills, whatever, this seems to be the one that at least has that aspect going this week.
Yeah.
That relaunch, or not, excuse me, re-describing the announcement.
I'm still more interested in Nuclear Coin based on...
Oh, yeah, that one looked good out the gate, basically.
I'm more interested in Nuclear Coin, I guess. Yeah, I guess Nuclear Coin might not be in the same category. It was kind of more obviously
but no, you're right.
Organized.
I didn't think about that when I was just categorizing those, but you're right. It probably does fall into like the no frills proof of work one for the most part there.
But compared to like Roxo Coin,
yeah,
I think this one does.
And whatever that other one was, I was thinking of N7.
Yeah, N7.
The Creed.
The Creed. There's so many.
I guess the Creed had some graphics too.
This.
Who knows? I don't actually like this coin or anything. I'm not even mining it, but
No, but it feels like
I always find it's interesting when they pull that move. It takes a little extra effort.
It feels to me like you could definitely wait to catch this one on a lull or something. It's got a huge pre-mine.
I'd also be super careful.
I think the pre-mine's honestly too big for me to want to consider it in this case.
Especially for a long-term anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe catch it on the pump for a quick flip or something.
Yeah, so Bullcoin I'm not impressed.
Nope. DarkLisk.
This coin looks truly terrible, but
this was even less impressive to me.
I also really respect the person who came up with it.
I like that it's X11.
Anytime there's a big coin, there needs to be somebody to come out and make a dark version of it and a light version of it, and whatever little tweaks on the name there could possibly be. And so I like it when somebody comes out with it right away and makes it really bad, because it kind of takes it out of contention now. Like, well, somebody did DarkLisk and now it's crap, so now nobody else can come along and make DarkLisk without getting made fun of. So I respect DarkLisk for coming out first and for being as terrible as they are.
Well said. I guess We'll see how far that can get someone these days.
Sometimes they go huge. This Dogecoin Dark, I guess, was the standard bearer for that category of coins that just like
smashing words together.
Yeah, smashing different coin brands together to create a mega coin unto itself.
Uh-huh.
And they did a good job with that, obviously.
It's the super group of coins.
Yep. Very funny.
And then the one that was announced not long before the show really was Pluton, which isn't exactly a proof of work or proof of stake coin. It's an Ethereum token.
Cool.
That would be rewarded to people sort of like frequent flyer miles if they were to use this Bitcoin debit card service. So,
debit card, huh?
Yeah, actually, I was talking to somebody who uses this type of service earlier today. It wasn't this one. It was one, something else. But it does sound kind of interesting. Basically, like, imagine you deposit some Bitcoin to an online account and you have a physical debit card that can... basically, they're buying the... It's just like Coinbase. They're buying the Bitcoins from you, but you can use it on this debit card. You send
Bitcoins and you get a preloaded fiat
it's
currency.
It's rechargeable though. You don't have to get a new one every time.
But is your balance on the card is denominated in Bitcoin or is it denominated in?
I believe it's in U.S. dollars.
U.S. dollars, okay.
Yeah, because that's the point of the.
That's the point of where it transitions essentially.
Yeah, so you'd get the U.S. dollars that you sold for the Bitcoins, and then a little bit of Pluton as well.
So it's kind of it's a way to improve the value of the debit card, the Bitcoin debit card service, essentially.
Well, and probably a way to reward,
like a reward points.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they described as too. A way to reward their users if they when they can have some, because they don't actually have a service at this point. It didn't seem like.
I really like that. I think that's a really good use of a blockchain. Every blockchains don't need to be this like huge thing all the time. So to come out with one where the whole point is just to be a way to control the reward points for one little corner of the market that's a really cool way to use a blockchain as far as I'm concerned. And it's very true to what some of the the original potential of blockchain technology was.
And also building it just right inside of Ethereum, I think, makes sense from certain standpoints too, like as far as operational costs and like needing to maintain anything network wise. These guys basically have that taken care of as far as the token itself.
It's completely handled that
their whole other hardware and customer support and
I didn't think of that.
That's a
really interesting angle. It's crazy to think about the potential that's out there with Ethereum right now. It's ridiculous. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
To essentially, because you have that service completely paid for on the Ethereum blockchain. You don't have any security or liability otherwise. That's really awesome.
It does cost something in Ether at first.
Does it? To
create the contract, but I don't know how much all that shit comes out to. I'm sure it's gone up a lot since the beginning, though. I remember at the beginning it didn't seem like a lot, and now it'd be funny to recalculate that stuff because I haven't thought about it for a long time.
Interesting.
Boy, that was all the Bitcoin talk posts, wasn't it?
Yep, that's it. That's all we got for this week. I'm gonna say not an impressive.
Nothing too amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Pluton.
A lot of re-announcements.
Nuclear, I'm happy enough with. I don't think doesn't feel like a long-term project to me. Those are really the only two
ones that I think could get onto, like Yobit, Pulsar, Roxo, Nuclear.
Between
Creed number 7, Bullcoin, DarkLisk. I think all of those ones could.
Between Roxo, Creed number 7, and Bullcoin, I would say 2 of them are likely to get on. Probably Bullcoin is pretty likely just through a pay ad, I think.
Yeah.
By the developer there, but otherwise, I see them getting onto Yobit, but I see them doing like 0.1, 0.2 daily volume.
Yeah, one of those ones that falls off.
Exactly.
So nothing too much. I am going to look a little bit closer at that BitLandGlobal, even though it seems like so off-putting. I feel like it's just too obvious. Like,
that's exactly what I said about Aurora Coin.
Which is now doing really well.
Which it had an incredible, obviously one of the most famous pumps of all time.
Well, did you see their
most recent
now
it's coming
stuff?
Back. Yeah, now it's coming back again to have a really strong presence. So it proved that it could create that super high market cap market, even if it was being pumped, obviously, by a pumper, but whatever. Well, and then it proved that it can come back after that.
I guess they chose a really interesting market because they were actually able to successfully airdrop a lot of coins to Icelandic citizens.
Yeah, they actually did the airdrop.
Which we didn't predict was a real part of their project.
Yeah, I guess definitely when the pump first started happening, I couldn't believe it. Like, I remember back then, like, you could just kind of like...
There was a lot of place coins at the time.
Yeah, and you could just
This
go
place,
through...
that place.
There was a lot... The mining markets were a lot more like... It was a lot easier. There was a lot more... You could just, like, go through the list of coins and you would find a coin with a really high profitability, like 2-3 times the baseline. And it might only last for 1 or 2 difficulty retargets, but it would always be out there. And so there was a lot of money back then in trying to chase those coins down in the mining market.
That's why those multi-pools were automated, yeah.
Yeah, and that's multi-pools kind of ended up being what balanced that all out in the end. But I remember seeing Aurora Coin back then when I was doing that kind of mining, and it was like the return was just, the number was too big to believe. And I was like, no, this can't be real. This must be some sort of fake thing or whatever. I'm not going to be able to get my Aurora Coin. So I didn't even really try to exploit it.
Worth more than ever.
Yep, and now it's doing great, and it did incredibly well back then too.
Wouldn't have seen that coming.
No, definitely would not.
But for the most part, this week's just been kind of a cool off, it feels like.
Yeah, a lot of markets are down
Because I think some people say it's because people think Bitcoin might go up, you know?
Oh, yeah,
What do you feel about that type of speculation?
It doesn't hold water for me. I don't think the relationship between the people that are supporting these altcoin markets and the people that are supporting these Bitcoin markets, it's not, at least I think at our level of the market and our level of kind of the game, it's beyond our understanding. Like,
yeah,
there's no way to say for sure to what extent there's collusion between those different elements at the very highest levels of this.
Is there any point within a Bitcoin pump that you would consider liquidating all your altcoins?
No way.
Yeah, I don't think that there would be for me either.
How would I gain by that?
I don't know. I guess the thought is that you would...
The thought is that Bitcoin goes up
You would short all your coins, then you'd short Bitcoin at the top of that, and then you'd buy your coins back because the support was not there.
So that's not really how I prefer, as you know, I kind of try not to try and play to the extremes of the market like that. And so for me, if I'm seeing Bitcoin going up 9 times out of 10, the value of altcoins will go up in lockstep with Bitcoin and often faster than Bitcoin. So
I've noticed that
having your money in alts during a Bitcoin pump is not really a bad place to be. And I can understand the desire to have more money to trade Bitcoin directly with. Like, that's totally reasonable to me, but for a long time now, for me at least, there's been more profit in alts. I actually took my money out of the Bitcoin market this week.
Do you want to share your experience with that?
Yeah, I got out. I had some Bitcoin on OKCoin just to see what the zero fee trading or whatever was all about.
On the Chinese side, right? That's where
on the Chinese yuan versus side. I finally had to take it off today, and it was really funny because they actually will call you. This was a surprise to me. The OKCoin exchange calls you. Some person from Hong Kong actually calls to confirm your withdrawal, and it was really funny because they couldn't the English wasn't very good, obviously, and the cell phone connection wasn't very good either. So it was just one of those hilarious, almost impossible conversations. But eventually, it worked. I was able to get my withdrawal approved. I got my money off of OKCoin. So.
Nice. That's good to hear.
Yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't by any means call it an endorsement of OKCoin because I still don't trust them. But it was it was funny to see.
No one.
It was funny to see that level of organization on their part. I wasn't.
Yeah, they have employees
I wasn't expecting
and stuff,
it. Yeah, exactly,
right?
exactly. It is a real thing. I wasn't actually expecting to interact with a human from Hong Kong, so that was funny. But I put all my money back into altcoin markets.
One really notable thing that happened this week was Blacksmith of Yobit decided to just go ahead and list some Lisk IOUs based on his the ones that he must have bought in the pre-sale.
This is such an incredibly ballsy maneuver on his part. I can't believe it.
Very Wild West.
Yeah, seriously. And he's gotten a lot of flack for this, but honestly, I am impressed by this move. I'm really impressed by this move by Blacksmith because it really shows that he's really taking an active role in trying to up the ante on his exchange. And he's doing it in like you said, in such a Wild West way, and it's been that way from the start of Yobit. We're Yobit, we're here, we're not gonna be accountable for anything. We're just an exchange. We don't care what happens to the coins,
Yeah.
They've always been technically good enough. They've never
I've always eventually got my support tickets responded to.
Yeah, your tickets
even when I've
eventually go
gotten
through.
even when it's taken 7 days.
Yeah.
I've been like, oh man, when's it gonna happen? And then it seems like the less you bug them, like the more likely you are to
Yeah.
get your shit answered.
But they they kind of started out.
So weird.
They kind of started out just as like almost like a dice website.
You're right.
Like the dice was a really big.
The exchange was
angle.
like secondary.
Yeah, exactly. And now he's really been pushing really hard. And so I'm not endorsing this little
No,
this
of
little
course not.
Lisk thing. And again, this is Yobit, so you have no idea.
It's not up to anyone. That's, I think, the point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not up to any. The only choice that any individual can make is whether they're going to trade in the market.
Yeah.
And I know the answer for me is that I'm not going to,
Mm-hmm.
because of a lot of reasons. I mean, I don't even know why I would, except for the opportunity to make some money. But it's confusing to say that that's not interesting to me, but it's
Yeah.
really not. Like, that's not the main. I'm not just gonna throw my money in a. I'd go down to the casino and just fucking pull the wheel if I needed to feel that.
And that goes back to Yobit's roots of the dice game. That's how Yobit can
Right.
be a lot of the time. I think
Yeah.
it's an exchange for gamblers.
They invented the rise only market, right?
Yeah. I'm so happy you mentioned that. Those rise only markets were incredible. And that's to me what
It's still going. Yovi is still going up because that's the only direction it can go.
That's reminds me, this Lisk IPO thing kind of reminded me when I first saw it. It was at like 0.01, I think it was at 0.08. And I really considered buying in, but it reminded me too much of the Yovi market, which I bought into Yovi at one point and it did sell, but it took so long that it wasn't
Wasn't quite worth it for you.
Yeah, it annoyed me the whole time. I regretted my decision
Just
or
kind
whatever.
of felt like you had it tied up.
And so when I saw this Lisk IPO thing, I chose not to buy into it. Although I would have made money but at
Right,
the
yeah,
same
you kind of
time,
mentioned that.
I probably would have cashed out at like, a 10% gain or something. I have really, I don't
Low threshold for that type
Yeah,
of thing.
I have a low threshold for paying on those kind of really shady looking.
That's
things.
kind of was an interesting move. It created quite a bit of news, just people talking about it. It was hard not to notice the price of Lisk on there because clearly if it correlates to the price of Lisk outside of in the real Lisk world when it starts trading, then the Lisk ICO people made a lot of fucking money. It's very unlikely, I would think, that it's going to have that price.
Well, they're following really in the mold of GateCoin, and they're following in the mold of that original Ethereum token, Ethers or whatever they were called, that were released prior to the Ethereum. And so I think it's a really smart idea for them to be stepping so aggressively into this market because nobody, at least I hadn't heard of GateCoin before they did the Augur token.
Me neither.
And nobody's out there posting these GateCoin as a huge scam posts. Well, I'm sure some people are. But
We just aren't seeing them.
yeah, maybe we're not seeing them, but it's a really interesting way to, if you're a small exchange, that's a really cool way to provide a service that other people aren't, is to go out and buy a bunch of the Lisk IPO and then put them up for sale. Now, the problem for Yobit there is they really are relying on the Lisk people following through. They're relying on everything. You're relying on every link. If you're a buyer into that, you're relying on every link of the chain being solid. And so that's...
Except for that one detail that Yobit doesn't feel liable for anything.
Yeah, exactly. So that means as a buyer, if the Lisk part of the chain breaks, you lose. So
Right.
you just have to be careful.
You have to be careful.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean there's money to be made, and that doesn't mean it couldn't be a good investment.
I agree. It's funny.
So yeah, I'm really happy with what.
There actually was another small exchange called BitBloom that did the same thing.
What's the story there?
It's pretty much the exact same thing. They're trading Lisk right now as well. But of course the two are completely unconnected and the price there is much lower.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I wonder, obviously there's no...
It just shows you that there's,
that's a reflection in the relative trust of the exchanges, I guess.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's no way you can transfer from one to the other
No.
to actually carry it through, so...
In other Lisk news, the launch has been delayed a little bit.
Oh.
It's going to be more near the end of April or maybe in May, something like that.
That's something to keep our eyes on. It could, it's okay to get pushed back. Ethereum got pushed back quite a bit, right?
I can't even remember. I mean, I when I bought into the Ethereum ICO, I knew it was going to be a while.
Yeah.
This one kind of was shorter.
Yeah,
it felt
totally.
like.
Yeah, supposed to be a much quicker turnaround. You got to be careful with those delays. Obviously, there's not much to say now if you were at Lisk.
No, I'm perfectly happy with my
Investment.
Right. Always am.
Yeah, and of course
I love buying into ICOs. Why not?
One delay
Still how I
isn't
feel.
one delay isn't a red flag at all for me, but if it starts to become an ongoing thing, obviously that could be a big issue.
Yeah. Playing we were talking about Yobit a bit, so always watching those little markets going up and down. As far as ones that we've been talking about recently, we saw VIP go pretty up and down as usual here again. Getting moved around. Dubai Coin is going up.
Huge activity on Dubai Coin. Really happy to see it.
Is that still mining too?
Yep. I was mining it for pretty much all of last week and all of this week up until Nuclear Coin launched.
Oh, nice.
The rewards are way down, but there was no point where it would have been bad to mine. Just based
and probably with the price going up now.
Just because of the price going up, it was basically break even with me. For me, it was break even with Bitcoin at the low 1,000 to 1,200 price, and so obviously selling it at 2,500, 3,000, 3,500 or whatever has been.
So it's one of those things, like almost like we're talking about Aurora Coin, where so hard to tell. What if these people have a connection inside Dubai? They're going to be using this coin in Dubai in fucking the year in the year 2030. It's all Dubai coin in Dubai. I have no fucking idea. I just love to imagine.
It's just
I actually haven't got involved in that one at all yet.
What sold Dubai Coin for me was just the strength of the market for the nature of the coin. Just it was not a long POW, but a pretty good length of proof of work with pretty high rewards for the whole time, and so it held its price in the face of that for such a long time, and the market has been really stable, really controlled, and so that's kind of what gave me the confidence to keep mining Dubai Coin. So I think I'm completely sold out. I might have a couple thousand left, but I'm really happy to.
You liked what happened there?
Yeah, obviously. I had
good
to
for
sell,
miners.
I had to sell that clear.
And it's always nice. So it was good for miners, and next step would be if it's good for traders. Then that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Early traders were good. I haven't found a good entrance myself yet.
No, and it feels like it always feels like, maybe this is it. Maybe this is it for Dubai Coin. Maybe this is a Yobit only deal.
Yeah.
And that would be unfortunate.
Right.
But in terms of what they've built so far, they've laid the groundwork for something that could be a lot bigger, especially for just a blockchain 1.0 type deal. So definitely going to be watching Dubai Coin. I don't know what point I would be willing to buy back in at this point. That's a hard question for me. But at the same time, it's tough. It'd be tough for me to buy back in.
Because it was below 1,000 for quite a while there.
Yeah,
right?
for quite a long time. Yeah.
One
really funny thing for me this week: the Destiny coin dump. Did you check that out?
Up and down, huh?
Down and down mostly. Well, it
was up to what? What was the top there?
It was 30 in the low 30,000s.
And then the low.
Yep, I ended up getting burned a little bit on it. I bought it about 22 to 23,000. Rode it out for the whole rise, and then, woke up one day and boom. I fortunately saw it kind of close to right after the huge dump. It went from like 33,000 straight down to I think like 12,000 within a really short amount of time. And then it bounced back up over 20,000 for like a couple hours, and I managed to sell in that little window. I ended up taking a small loss, but managed
better than
to
what
escape.
would have happened the next day.
Yeah, because it ended up dumping below 10,000, and I'm a little disappointed. I've mentioned before on the show that I really like how Destiny was distributed.
Yeah.
But it turned out that they're obviously, in terms of the market, that
a little overvalued, apparently.
Yep, and they built it up to knock it down. Somebody built it up to knock it down. We don't know who. We can't say that the coin is done yet. I haven't been paying attention to the thread, so I don't have enough information to really say that the coin is done. But in terms of, we always talk about kind of the U trajectory that a lot of these altcoins take. It's pretty clear that Destiny's phase 1 is probably over.
See you on phase 2, Destiny, if you get to there.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun on Yobit this week with some old coins. I had a 10-month sell order clear on BAM.
Nice, yeah, I saw BAM up there. That was one of those, like,
it was a nothing
hundreds
coin.
of percentage up ones one day, right?
Yeah, you would look at
hundreds.
When BAM was announced, it looked like any of these coins we've been talking about this week, like Roxo Coin and whatever, that just don't have anything going for them, and it never did have anything going for it. It showed up on Yobit, never any interest, and then there hasn't been a post in the thread in almost a year, and then all of a sudden, just boom, sell clears on Yobit. Price goes up from like 17 up to 2,500 or something ridiculous. Like, huge pump. Mine sold at 300, and I think it's been steady around 300. So I ended up making a profit on that coin, waiting a year or whatever. But it's just really funny to me. I can't imagine the mindset of the people who are pumping these coins up. EagleCoin, EA was another one that I had some sells clear that were really old. There was a third coin. I don't remember what the third coin that cleared was, but
Man, that's so funny because you've been keeping so much Yobit dust there for so long.
Yeah,
you just never know at this point.
Yeah, I have a trading strategy where I just never quite sell everything. So it's funny to see some of these really old coins. The biggest Yobit surprise of the week for me is Trump coin.
Oh,
What do you
yeah.
think about
that
that?
was like right before the show, right?
Yeah,
We were looking at that.
I totally dogged Trump coin when it came out. I was like...
Well, what did you see it at, 8K? You said?
Yeah, 8K right now. It was in the low hundreds, in the 500s.
I remember definitely hearing people say it's going to go above 1,000, and everyone being like, I don't know.
Oh, you're idiots.
And then it did a lot of wafering around 1,000.
I mean, this has been... reminds me of DevilCoin in terms of how well the market has been controlled. Like, just no fear. And Yobit, you got to give it up. I've always kind of thought of Yobit as a third-tier exchange, but with everything that's going on there now, I feel like they're really positioning themselves to compete, to become potentially a second place to Poloniex type situation, in my opinion.
Man, that's crazy to me.
Because they're being so aggressive.
Yeah, I can see what you see. They're just gonna like get the volume no matter what it takes.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't and like we said, this is not an endorsement of Yobit.
No, I know, but for me, I still feel safer on a lot of different exchanges, like in regards to how much I keep on them.
Yeah, I feel really safe trading on Bittrex as well, but I feel bored at the same time just because of the lack of...
I feel safer on C-Cex than I do on Yobit.
Yeah. I do too, just because of the... C-Cex they've been around for so damn long. Like, I'm sure that they've been tested. I'm sure that their security has been tested over and over and over again. And they are doing a lot of changes. I could, it's conceivable that an exploit would get introduced or something. But
anyway, I trade on all
C-Cex,
of them. And honestly, I think they all serve really good purposes to the community. I think they'll all find their own little niches right now.
I agree.
Like, there always has to be somebody that's going to list most stuff. And I think Yobit is going to have that position right now. Like, they just going to... That's the first exchange, the easiest one to get on. It's not even that expensive if you want to pay to do it.
Yeah, their model is great in terms of... It used to be like voting was really heavy, or the BTC fee was really expensive. And then there was that up to the exchange discretionary listing that kind of always rings scammy. So Yobit just doing the 0.1 flat fee is really nice, I think, because anyone can afford it.
Yeah.
That's such a low price for...
Right.
It used to be 3 to 5 Bitcoins for an exchange listing, now it's
and I think...
a tenth
So
of a
Bittrex
Bitcoin.
is still 3.
And this is an exchange like...
Nobody knows what it takes to get on Poloniex.
Yep.
And C-Cex costs... I don't know what the listing price is actually like to get directly on, but you can win the
voting.
Voting by paying, and it's not really too expensive. Maybe... I'm sure a Bitcoin or two would win it, but... I don't know. I feel like those are the ones with volume, right? And now there's some other exchanges that are still around for a while, like Cryptopia. There's some new ones like Safecex coming up, different things. So that's always something to keep an eye on,
And that's when I look at that.
Some volume next.
When I look at that sea of exchanges, I guess that's where I see Yobit standing out the most in terms of they're just so aggressive in terms of trying to get these customers.
Yeah.
And they know that they're out on the fringe, and so they're not trying to be, they're kind of embracing that fringe aspect. Yeah. And just being like, oh, we're trading Lisk now. How about 500 Bitcoins a day volume, whatever. Like,
yeah.
This is just what we're doing right now. You can trust it or not trust it, but it's there. So.
Yeah, nobody's saying they're getting ripped off either.
So I guess
right?
That's my
people. Yeah. That's what I mean. There are people. There was some like maybe posts, I think, even in the announcement area about the Lisk IOUs and how it's a scam, and I just feel so not that way, and I would so much rather exist in a world where he can do that and people can choose to participate or not than a world where he can't do that.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to describe how I feel about the issue as well. Yep, it's a great thought. So we kept our eyes on meme a little bit this week. The market for it has been not impressive but stable. I didn't do great trading this one. I'm still in the green overall.
Yeah.
But I did it went down from 2000 a little faster than I expected, so I took a little bit of a hit there.
Man, it's so hard to tell if these guys are even serious or not.
And that's the
right?
thing. It's so tough for me to tell if it's serious. I sold quite a bit of meme. I still have some meme, and I'm on shaky waters with it. I'm not, I don't want to get in over my head by any means with this one. But on the other hand, you did do some research into their meme technology thing that I thought was
Yeah, I figured I would at least
really
understand
interesting.
it just for the sake of looking it up. And what it would allow people to do is prove their ownership of a particular meme through the blockchain.
So essentially, it's like you register a meme to your address, and then it's like, for all history, everybody knows that it's yours, essentially.
It's something like that, yeah.
I honestly think that's a really awesome idea.
Yeah, it's nice.
So,
nice way to use blockchain.
Yeah, it's a really good blockchain 1.0 idea, but it as with everything on meme, it feels like a pretense to me. It doesn't feel like there's anything there, kind of beneath the hood.
Oh, the reason that it might be I don't know, just to play the devil's advocate, one obvious thing to me is that there's a lot of memes already in existence, and the race to register those memes would mean that there's going to be a lot of invalid ownership right off the bat.
Yeah, that's the biggest question, is the invalid ownership, and maybe that's how the blockchain can be used as a way of validating that. But then it's like, our meme holders don't know who made the memes. How can the people who control the blockchain use that authorization to actually validate the ownership of all this weird internet stuff? Like,
so it's a great example, but it's kind of a bad application of it. Because
it's like the opposite of what was that coin that launched this week? Hold on a sec. Like Pluton. Pluton is like the rewards points as a blockchain. For me, that's a really low, that's a not very ambitious idea, but it's a good idea that can actually work. And so I feel like memes like the opposite thing. It's a really cool idea, but I don't think it can work.
Right.
So, well, that's... I'm definitely going to give the developers their chance.
I can think of something like, it'd be a good way for people. It just shows you that sort of how, I don't know what I want to say. It has to do with how memes are like the perfect type of thing for the example, because they exist only as little images in a computer originally.
Yeah.
So that's not something that like exists in the physical world that could change hands prior to the owner.
Yeah.
If you could get it so that every meme was being registered on the blockchain at the beginning of its life, but that's just not possible.
Yeah.
So there's something else out there, I'm sure, that could be.
Well, the idea would be that if it becomes established, content creators, if you're the content creator, you're the first person who has a chance to put that meme on the blockchain. So it makes sense from that angle. But again, the problem goes back to what you were saying of just people taking ownership of the meme on the blockchain. And now that I think a little bit more about it, maybe so what if they do? Like,
It might be.
So a bunch of old memes get registered to the wrong people. Like, okay, that's part of the deal. It would.
Is there a way to deal with meme disputes?
Well, and just the information of knowing who the first person was to register that meme is valuable. That's not valueless information, even if it doesn't absolutely certify the person who created the meme.
It would be somebody interested in registering that meme.
Yeah, that tells you something. So upon kind of second consideration, I'm liking this idea for meme a little bit more in terms of something that might actually be implementable. Again, I'm still a little suspicious in terms of whether it's a pretense or not, whether there's the real development there. So I would be excited to see, I guess, where they go with it.
It'd be interesting to see if it's still around in a month again. I mean,
yep, and that's going to be the timeline for me.
They made it to here now.
I'm going to be surprised to see the price go up from here, honestly. But
we like to be surprised.
Yeah, I love to be surprised. My favorite.
Let's see what else was happening.
I feel like that's it for the major news. At least that was on my radar this week. I spent most of my time on Yobit, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Most of my trading off that wasn't very good. Digibyte got burned a little bit. My bot went crazy. My trading bot.
Tell us about that.
I sent a bad update out, and it ended up buying it bought up like the whole Bittrex Neos market, or it tried to, until it ran out of Bitcoin. So that was kind of annoying. I had to eat a bit of a loss on that one, but it works out to being like 2 or 3 weeks worth of bot revenues that kind of got eaten up by that. But at the end of the day, it's just a lesson in terms of testing your stuff a little bit better.
But in exchange, you got like a 90% increase in bot productivity.
Yeah. In the end, I learned a new method I figured out a problem with my method of executing some of the code that was really hampering my performance. So in fixing this other problem, I discovered how to fix that, and it ended up getting a huge boost in my overall.
And so we decided that's what is called a development cost.
Yep, exactly. So I'll chalk that up as development costs, and we'll move on from there. My week kind of ended up being a wash. I took that big hit from that bot mistake, and then I had a few wins, like I said, on those old coins that got bought up and that stuff, and it basically balanced out in the end.
Nice. I haven't really been trading too much. I sold a little bit of U down into that the price rise created by that repost.
Nice. I guess if you got it, you might as well sell it.
And then I have just still been mining O'Reilly and also mining Steam.
I'm so disappointed in myself for not mining Steam.
I'd say still get it set up.
I couldn't think of a single I don't really want the show to be about recommendations or me saying, oh, this is a sure thing or anything like that, because that's not how I think about markets. But for me, Steam is probably the highest potential, lowest profile coin that's
it definitely
out
seems
there right now.
Interesting that you can just mine it with a regular old computer.
Yep, right now
You'll get some. It won't be a ton anymore, but
this isn't a recommendation. I'm not saying this is like an endorsement, but it reminds me of VanillaCoin in terms of where it's at, in terms of potential versus playability.
Yeah.
Like you can't.
It's similar in the sense that it required a certain amount of just doing it at the very beginning.
You're running a Ubuntu, right?
Yeah, they're both really just sort of annoying to get going at first.
Yeah, totally.
For their own sort of different reasons.
But
they besides that, I like that about a coin.
Yeah.
When it's obnoxious to get it going, that's a
huge barrier to entry for people. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
But this was a good one to mine at this point, I think. I mean, the way that my computer usage goes, I don't have to necessarily put a bunch of extra resources forward to mine something like this, because my computer's kind of just idle all the time.
Is it a CPU or a GPU mine?
CPU.
Nice. Okay. Cool. So yeah, I'm really interested in Steam, and if I don't have it set up by next week, I'm gonna be really disappointed in myself.
And I expect O'Reilly to get listed still.
I hope it does. God, I hope it does.
It will.
I mind quite a bit.
Nice. Then of course we're gonna tell you all about the listings.
Coin listings this week. They're obviously the biggest listing this week. Poloniex.
Poloniex listed.
Scenario.
Is it, yeah. I don't know. It looks like scenario to me, but with Y's. So
yes. I kind of think of it as AMP.
I didn't know anything about this coin.
It's like, oh man, I could be totally wrong on this. It launched with like a music pretense. It's been big on Bittrex for a long time. And then now it's on Poloniex. It's like, how?
And it went up 300%.
Yeah, it went up huge with crazy volume.
The first day, it was like, oh, you're on Poloniex? Here you go, bud.
I did great on AMP. I started bot trading it almost immediately after it hit the market. I just bought some and let it go, and it ended up paying for itself like very quickly. It turned out to be a really good investment for me. So despite the price drop, I'm still doing really good on AMP, and I'm really happy with where it's at. The market doesn't feel as strong as RADS. RADS has been really impressing me this week because all these other coins are kind of down 10-20%. RADS is just holding flat, solid as a rock. So I'm interested in that, and I'm interested in how the similarities between that and AMP right now in terms of how the strength of the market.
I was looking at it at AMP when I don't know what it's at now. Like maybe it was at like 15,000 or something.
Yeah.
Thinking it might be a good time to buy. What?
It got up to the 30 at least. Maybe not.
It went back up more.
15,000 is what it's at now.
Oh,
Got
yeah,
up to
okay.
about 30 right after it launched.
I couldn't tell because when it goes up 300% when it gets listed on Poloniex, it's so hard to tell where's it gonna settle and how long is it gonna take.
Yeah,
Damn.
it's got they almost always go down.
Has to for a little
after
bit.
about the first day.
I mean,
This
I
one,
imagine
it held out for a
people
few
waking
days.
up. I just went to the Scenario website.
Yeah.
It says it's a fully decentralized and distributed social platform owned by the people who use it.
Well,
And they definitely have a fancy little website, but like I said, I know nothing about it. It has a button that says sign up for updates. That usually means that it doesn't exist, from my experience, because otherwise it would just say sign up.
oh, that's what it would just be sign up. Yep. So, interesting.
We'll see.
Yeah, my analysis of this coin is based entirely on the markets.
Yeah.
So that's
the price went up and it got listed on Poloniex.
yeah, exactly. Well, for me, the markets tend to be more instructive than what you see, on Bitcoin Talk or whatever a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But also, you need to really understand a coin. You need a complete picture. I just was attracted to the volatility right after it got listed, because it's just fun to try and work up a stack. So that was kind of my goal. Is like, there's a new coin on Poloniex. I'm gonna do a little bit of trading.
Oh
and
yeah,
work
it's
up
a perfect
stack so that I
opportunity
have-
for the bot.
Yeah, so then I have something to play with going down the line.
That's awesome.
So yeah, been a lot of fun with AMP this week.
C-Cex listed MOJO.
MOJO coin ICO listed on C-Cex. What's the price like for that?
I'm interested to know what it's sitting at right now. Some of the facts about the ICO itself are that they raised 181.25 bitcoins.
Allegedly.
What
was the...
That is 443 individual Bitcoin transactions with an average of 0.41 bitcoins.
Did C-Cex host the ICO?
No.
Was it a private ICO? What was the deal there?
Yeah, I think I think it was escrowed though, by maybe a Bitcoin Talk user.
So
I might be wrong. It was either that or just done by themselves.
Very tough to say what...
The largest investment transaction was 4 bitcoins for 1.5 million MOJO. These are all really nice stats that they gave, honestly. They're fun to read. Smallest investment was 0.00026 bitcoins for 135 MOJO. And the price at the ICO for that was 259 satoshis.
I don't, what I'll say for MOJO is that I don't get as bad of vibes as I often do from this IPO as I do.
What's it chilling at now?
395 on the bid side.
Okay.
The support is mostly at about 380. So pretty strong.
For me, I like to think
the
of
market
it
has been strong.
like, so would there be that much more Bitcoin available to buy to like support this market at this point? It's hard to say.
A lot of people, thinking you shouldn't really think, in my opinion, thinking of an IPO in terms of that Bitcoin going back in to support the market doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because, if you want to, what ends up actually happening is everybody who wants to buy the coin puts the money in right away, and then they expect the IPO to support the market. But that's not necessarily the point of IPOs. It's almost never explicitly stated that the IPO is going to go to exploit the market or to support the market.
Most likely not. Yeah.
And so what happens is the person just sells the Bitcoin. Like that's supposed to be the point usually.
To help for those development costs.
For those sweet development costs, That's usually the idea there. So to expect it to go into support is unusual, and to actually see it go into support is unusual. Especially the exchanges will often have requirements that some of it has to go back into support when they host IPOs.
Oh yeah, I know
this
that
wasn't
wasn't the case with this one.
This wasn't a hosted IPO. So.
No, I don't even think it's going back in like that. I just meant that it seems to me that there would have to be a lot more interest at this point to hold that price for any sustained period of time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Usually,
because when you already have that many coins with that much funds raised, then there's gonna, at least all those small holders. This dude who bought his 135 coins, I guarantee you, he's selling them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like what happens is the interest gets exhausted before the coin even hits the market. The buy interest, what happened is that if it was really 180 Bitcoins worth of sells, it's like 180 Bitcoins worth of people who wanted to buy MOJO have already bought. And now it's going to hit the market, and you're going to have all of those people who are ready to pull the trigger on the sale, and anybody who wants to buy has already had the chance. So who's left to buy?
But it actually would have been a good buy the first time that it was in like the below 400 range.
Yeah, and oftentimes the
And you would
buyers
have
are
been
there.
able to sell it again.
You know, I could have made the exact same argument for ETH or whatever and been just totally completely wrong. So sometimes the buyers are there. And for MOJO right now, the buyers have been there, and we don't know why or for how long. That's kind of where it's at.
Sounds about right.
But all things considered, for what it is, it's doing well.
Yeah.
POSex was the next coin listed on C-Cex. Do you know? I don't know. a
No,
single
I
thing.
didn't even bother to look it up. I'm sorry.
No, nah, me either. POSex, sorry guys. Whatever you're doing, good luck. I don't see on the top of the volume, but I hope that you make enough of a splash that we'll notice you for next week.
Yep. What else was listed? BIGUP,
Big Ups coin.
one of the best troll coins of.
Yeah,
for a
really happy
while.
to see this listed.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Boats and Bitches IPO. Do you remember
Nice.
that
Yeah, of
ridiculous IPO? That's what Big Up coins. It's like a personality coin. Like it's tied to
They're
it.
talking about the BIGUP lifestyle all
Yeah,
the time.
Big
in
Up
the-
lifestyle. Big Up lifestyle.
So make that a thing.
Yep, I think it's cool.
But you probably got to do more than just talk about it in a troll box to actually make anyone give a fuck.
I can't even see the POSex market on C-Cex.
Weird.
I'm gonna try and get in there. Hold on.
Um,
LiteCred was also listed.
BIGUP was actually going up for a bit though, right? It started at like 1 Satoshi.
There's obviously something going on.
And now
with
it's on
Big Up.
5.
It seems like the guy who made it got all the supply
Oh,
and is gonna mess around.
Dude,
with
did
it.
you notice that Yobit has the 6-month view now?
No, I didn't notice that at all. What?
Oh yeah, I meant to say that on the show. It has
Oh,
1
that
month and
is-
6 month now,
Oh man, great change for that guy. Awesome.
which really helps. There's also a new feature on
Oh,
C-Cex
that's
right
so
now.
exciting! I can't wait to look at the Bucks market.
Yeah, it actually.
Uh,
Good job,
C-Cex
good
has
job,
done some great
Yobit. Now,
development, too.
just put the dates on the right hand side. How hard is it, dude? Do you see where it says time? All you need to do is put the date next to it, please.
So funny.
On C-Cex right now, you can hit order generator.
Yep.
It's a new thing, and you can generate a particular number of orders between price A and price B
Oh,
and
sweet.
spend this much.
So they're
Same
starting
with buy.
They're building in some algorithmic tools.
Yeah, it's really convenient for making a nice spread on, or for making
Yeah.
an order book fuller.
Filling in an order book.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's really cool, and I'm really one of the things that I'm really surprised that we haven't seen more from the major exchanges is the addition of.
So good job, C-Cex. I love that.
Yeah, I want to see the addition of algorithmic tools for regular traders within the exchange interface. It's really surprising to me that it's not there in a better way already.
Yeah. What I'd like to see.
So that'd be a great way for C-Cex to distinguish themselves.
So you can determine those variables I said. You can do the price from to and the price to, and then how much you want to spend.
Yep.
And how many orders, and it
Yep.
divides it fairly
Equally,
evenly. But what would be really nice, I think, is if there was some sort of slider so that you could have it the amount of
Variability.
coins weighted towards the front
Oh yeah, totally. That's a great idea.
or the back, depending on how you
Yep.
felt. So like people, oftentimes want to have a bunch of coins near the front of the market or
And
a bunch
fewer-
near the back.
Yeah,
and
I
back.
typically do a lot towards the fence, and then.
So that'd be cool if we could have like a slider or something.
That's a great thought. And really have to give huge kudos to C-Cex for that change this
So
week.
both those exchanges improving their shit.
Yep.
It's good to see.
I think everyone's hyped up right now. Everyone wants to step their game up, except for Bittrex.
Yeah, they're just comfy,
I
comfy
give
cozy.
I give Bittrex a hard time, but they're doing good work over there.
Yeah, no, they're solid exchange.
Yep.
It's just business as usual.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And the other one C-Cex listed was LiteCred.
Yep, LiteCred sticking around. It goes back to the theme we said earlier of just smacking coin themes together.
So
you
this
know?
one's on to their second developer now, or
there was
they
a-
pretty
they
much
did a
they pretty much
takeover.
did a silent takeover.
Silent takeover onto LiteCred. I wonder if there was a swap.
Nope,
No swap.
nope.
Okay.
It's just that the people just kind of abandoned it. I haven't looked into whether they have like GitHub control or
Yeah.
what they expect to do with that right now.
Yeah.
But the developer hasn't shown up for a while, and somebody else is moving in. That's all I can notice.
Well, that could be something. I'm probably not going to keep up with LiteCred.
Sometimes they might be better than the developer.
Yep.
You never know.
I barely have time to keep up with DCred.
Yeah, LiteCred, I just sold that. I remember selling the small airdrop.
Oh, you got the
just,
airdrop, right?
It was just a couple bucks or whatever.
That's still good, though.
Yeah. Then Safecex listed GUNcoin. That's an old one.
Yeah, real old, real weird listing.
Based around the Second Amendment.
Yep.
Right to bear arms.
Guns as coins. Very real. That's real to me.
It doesn't seem like something any government's going to be comfortable with, so I'd be, man, I'd like sort of like with Aurora Coin, you know, it's like, oh, all of a sudden this is going to be the
currency of Iceland.
It'd be so funny to see like all these stupid little coins come out at the top, like, oh yeah, now everybody's just buying guns with GUNcoin.
Yeah, all of a sudden the last commodity coin you expect becomes the one that takes over. Like,
yeah,
oh my god, guys, the world's urea market's been taken over by Eurocoin.
exactly,
for no reason that anyone could understand.
So, but that's listed there. Maybe they won the vote or something.
Yep. Well, there.
MobileCash.
Don't remember that coin at all.
No,
that's a very
neither.
generic name for a coin, guys.
Yeah, that sounds like regular money. Was mobile originally.
Yep, that's the whole point, right?
Billcoin.
Happy to see Billcoin there. We
I
talked
almost
about
mined
Billcoin.
Billcoin when it was actually one that went up a little bit on Yobit.
Yep.
Because everything's crazy on Yobit all the time. So it went up a little bit, and I was like, oh man, I almost want to switch from mining overly to Bill, but then I decided, too much work.
Billcoin's not doing much, but I wish I do it. I never did mine it. I wish I did. The market
Just can't mine them all.
It's not looking too bad. It's as likely to crash into the dirt as it is to move anywhere in the other direction, but I do wish I had gotten a little bit of Billcoin.
Maybe you still can.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Maybe it's not too late.
They also listed VIP. So those are both second exchanges for those coins.
Yep, VIP not looking so good.
I'm sure
this week.
GUNcoin's somewhere else too. I just haven't looked into it. Like they were definitely on Cryptsy, for example.
VIP kind of did what Destiny did this week. It went up, and then had a big crash.
Yeah, I'm staking. That's one of my staking wallets right now.
Nice. And yeah, it might be a long haul. It might be a long wait for it to go up again at this point, but I'm not convinced.
I hope they like one of their roadmaps thing is that they're going to have like basically just a lounge for holders of VIP to talk in.
So kind of like the Arch thing. That was the big thing.
It reminds me of that a little bit. And honestly, I just hope they do that because I just like meeting people.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a fun way to meet people. I don't understand why it's so hard to actually follow through with that type of stuff.
I would like it more in a small coin like VIP than I would in a huge coin like Arch because, if it's a big thing like Arch, and especially the way Arch was set up with the tiered status, it becomes a huge, it just becomes fake. And
yeah, I only ever traded Arch coin.
Yeah, it becomes fake, and it becomes a way for people to get over on each other.
I never got into that other part. I kind of wished I had, though. I was just curious.
But to just have a lounge on a smaller coin where the distribution is going to be ridiculous anyway, the value is not that high, and it is what it is, I like that idea, So that was it. That was it for Safecex. No listings that we know of on Bittrex this week. No listings on Cryptopia. But Yobit did list a few coins, as they are wont to do.
Billcoin.
Billcoin is, the Billcoin listed on Yobit had the huge spike like we talked about.
Yep.
Now is doing some low volume, but we'll see what happens with it.
Xavier. Which was on the show, but seemed...
it's just like...
Seemed about the same as it does now, honestly. I don't know. They must have paid, right?
Yeah,
it's only
exactly.
$40 or whatever.
They either pay or they know Blacksmith or something. So here they are.
DevilCoin.
DevilCoin, this was one of the more promising launches from last week.
Well, it was the one that changed the look.
Yeah, they changed the look, so not surprised to see that little bit of effort to get into Yobit on their part. I haven't seen much in the way of trading there, but we'll see what happens with it. And then, of course, the big Lisk.
Buyer beware.
The buyer beware mega Lisk listing that, obviously, the big controversial listing that I think was a really smart move.
Oh, man. I didn't remember to look up the birthdays.
Oh, we didn't look up our birthdays. That's all right. We'll get them next week.
Yeah, we'll just double up.
All right, everybody. I think that pretty much covers the week in crypto this week. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. We definitely had a lot of fun talking about coins. We love getting together. We love chatting about crypto.
Yeah, thanks for listening, and give us a shout out on Twitter at Chain Dynamics, or we got a Bitcoin Talk thread.
Yeah, we're in the Bitcoin Talk altcoins.
The altcoinboard.com thread.
Yeah,
we're
out there.
Cross post on the crypto world.
Yeah, we love it.
We
when
want to
people
bring it all
comment.
together. I think
Even
I'm
if you
gonna
have bad things to say, let's
Sure, we'll hear them.
good things, bad things, whatever.
We like
It's
to hear
funny.
nice things more. But
That's true.
I'm gonna go onto the Cryptopia forums, try to post it there.
Nice.
I'm going to just try to find more outlets to get it out there, so that
definitely.
we can find more people to come in and just get more of a feedback loop going, so that
absolutely.
if people tell us what they like, then we can do more of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Vice versa.
We're always kind of dealing with the issue of there's so much going on in crypto that we can't possibly cover, or we can't possibly be aware of it. So we love it when people bring stuff to our attention.
And it's nice now we're also over the technical hurdles for the most part, it feels like.
Yep, yeah, that too.
And so now
we can really focus
we
on
can start
content.
focusing on the content, and we've been developing more organizational strategies.
Yep.
And different things like that. And I won't have a day job, for lack of a better description, for a while.
Yeah, we're just going to be living free for a little bit, so that'll be awesome.
So,
Jubilee will be living the free life, so that's
Woody
great.
is my real name. That's fine. But I'll be able to focus on this a little bit more, hopefully,
so, yeah,
and keep improving it. So thanks.
Big stuff to come.
Talk to you later.
Yep. Thanks, everyone, for listening. This is Blockchain Dynamics, podcast number 7, Error by Trial Radio.
Error by Trial.
Peace.
Stack a couple Bitcoins.
Money, 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 though.
Pull up on my Nakamoto.